This is the Bison Football Show with Coach Matt Entz, hosted by Jeremy Jorgenson, and presented by Gate City Bank.
North Dakota State marched into hostile territory with a business-like attitude, and they came out with the Dakota marker once again. A thrilling game in front of a raucous environment on a beautiful day. Let's relive it with head coach Matt Entz, and I just want to congratulate you and your staff. Business-like approach this week. Played a great football game in a tough environment, and that's a great win.
It was. We played a really good football team in South Dakota State. Our kids, we had some setbacks during the course of the game and weren't at our best all the time, but we made enough plays to allow us to win the football game. And our kids continue to find ways, and it's always a different way from week to week, but excited about where we're at right now.
The Bison have always thrived on the road. The kids kind of enjoy that us against the world mentality, don't they?
We do, and I've said it before. I think when you go on the road, it creates a high level of continuity. The inner workings of your team grow even a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Everyone gets to know each other's story because it's just you against everybody at that time. And I think that's part of the reason why we have been successful on the road.
Yep, it's been a great job by the Bison on the road, and it was a great job in this football game. It's going to be fun to break down. Let's take a look at it. The first half, the Bison won the toss. So South Dakota State starts with the football. They got the ball, and it was a very active first drive, wasn't it?
It was. A good run by Jabari Gibbs. Then we tack on 15 for a late hit right here on the sidelines. We just got to do a better job. There's too many explosive plays. I think we gave up 6 or 7 throughout the course of the game, and we knew they were going to be an explosive offense.
Cade Johnson's a good wide receiver, makes a play.
He is. He's one of the best in the league and maybe best in the country. And here's just a little taper fade, and quarterback put it right where he needed to.
You know what? They had a 1st and 10 at the 15, though. Force a field goal, that's huge.
It is. You've heard me say it once, and I'll say it again. Field goals won't get you beat.
You came into this game planning to run Trey a little bit, didn't you?
We did. We looked at film, and we saw a year ago we had a quarterback run for over 150, and we thought there were some things in the quarterback run game that we could take advantage of.
What a play by Trey there on 3rd down.
It is. To have the composure to stand in the pocket when they're bringing an extra 5th and deliver it right only where Phoenix can catch it.
Trick play right here inside the 10. Walk us through this and sort through this situation.
Well, I love the call. I think that there's a little bit of a run-pass situation. I would have loved to have seen Christian just keep it and run. I think he could have scored. But unfortunately, we were called for offensive pass interference.
And then a tough field goal into the wind. It gets tipped, and no points on the drive.
We just got to get the ball up. And Griffin, right now, in a little bit of a slump. We just got to keep working through it. He's going to be all right for us.
Cade Johnson making folks miss out on the perimeter. He's just a good athlete.
He is. Poor angle, poor tackle angle by our corner. We got to do a better job of limiting yards after contact.
Well, good play in the backfield here, and this is where their quarterback is knocked out of the game.
It is. Nice job by Aaron Mercadale to come up on secondary contain on the scramble. And, I haven't heard what the injury was, only speculation. But it makes you sick to see good players get hurt.
What'd you know about the number 2? They didn't change much.
They didn't. Still quarterback run game and quick passing game was going to be their game plan. Saw him play a couple games early in the year.
They started to feed Pierre Strong Jr. with the number 2 quarterback in there.
And we anticipated they would. He's an outstanding back, and their offensive line complements his style really well.
They had a 1st and goal, and Code Green needed to lock in and did absolutely that and forced another field goal.
We did. We need to start locking in a little bit earlier than just in the red zone, but I will take only giving up a field goal again.
Well, the Bison were really good offensively on short yardage situation. This is certainly a sign of things to come for later in the game. This is a 3rd and 1. You get big yards.
It is. Good run by Ty Brooks. Again, getting his pads out in front of his toes and falling forward for that 1st down.
Starting to move it a little bit and executing on 3rd down.
You continue to do a nice job. And again, you see Trey just using his feet just to buy enough time to find the open receiver.
Well, Dimitri Williams right up the gut here. Nice run by him, and it sets up some other things in the play calling world, doesn't it?
It does. And then this play right here, the previous play right before it was the exact same play where number 2 stayed in the box and tackled the quarterback. Now we called it again and give it, and his 20-yard gain, and it got us down inside the red zone.
We're in the red zone here. A rare sack given up. There were some penalties here also, so a field goal situation. Get the 3, though.
It is. I understand the sack. Frustrating when you have penalties when it was, I believe, 1st and goal from the 3-yard line at one time, and you come away only with 3.
Their offensive play calling, they were doing everything they could to get the ball in Cade Johnson's hands at this point.
They were. I think they wanted to try to stretch us out as much as we could. Not great perimeter run fits here. Still things we can continue to work on.
You know, 3rd and 5, their number 2 quarterback did make a play here.
He did. He threw the slant, got it inside our slot area defender. We got to do a better job playing with better leverage.
They took a shot. Josh Hayes was ready. The corners played pretty well in the pass game.
They did. They did. You know, I thought in the pass game our secondary played extremely well.
You know, Chase Vinatieri, that name is familiar, but he misses one at the horn here in the first half. That was a big miss.
It was. Even bigger was just, again, having the composure to hold them to a long field goal when they had moved the football and got themselves into the red zone.
Well, there wasn't a lot of offense in the first half. It was a dogfight, as we expected. It's the Dakota Marker game, big rivalry game. There you see the total yards, 190, 155. There was some movement between the 20s, just not a lot of points on the boards as the defenses were bowing their necks. Third downs pretty successful for both squads in the first half. Before we get to the second half, let's get to know Spencer Wagey a little bit.
This is Would You Rather with the 2019 Bison, presented by Gate City Bank.
Would you rather go fishing or hunting?
Hunting.
Would you rather go skydiving or cliff diving?
Skydiving, probably.
Would you rather go camping or stay in a hotel?
Camping.
Would you rather shovel snow or swat mosquitoes?
Shovel snow.
Would you rather swim in a pool or a lake?
Lake.
Would you rather drive or fly when you're going somewhere?
Much rather drive.
Yeah. Would you rather walk 10 miles or go to the dentist?
I don't know, I'll go to the dentist. It doesn't bother me that much.
Would you rather bite your tongue while eating something or step on a Lego?
Oof. Bite my tongue.
Would you rather sit on a beach or a cruise ship?
On a beach.
Would you rather confront an alligator or a bear?
Alligator, probably.
Would you rather be thirsty or hungry?
Hungry.
Okay. Would you rather sit in a tractor or an office all day?
Definitely a tractor.
Would you rather watch a movie at home or go to the theater?
At home.
Would you rather drink coffee or juice in the morning?
Coffee.
Would you rather own a fancy house or a fancy vehicle?
That one's a tough one. It's a fancy vehicle.
Coach, a 6-3 game at halftime. I'm sure it was a lively locker room as far as adjustments and discussion on how to play the second half.
Well, I think the number one thing that we went into halftime talking about was just we can't shoot ourselves in the foot and have penalties inside the red zone. And
Yeah.
like I said before, we had a 1st and goal from the 3, and all of a sudden, before you know it, it was 1st and goal from the 8, and we had to settle for a field goal. We needed to tackle a little bit better. There was nothing that we were seeing from the South Dakota State that we hadn't prepared for. It just came down to execution.
Let's roll the second half. It was very exciting. Couple 3-and-outs. The defenses were locked in, but then there was a drive, the second drive for the Bison, where Ty Brooks locked in. Didn't he?
This is a great run right here, making people miss. And, Ty had a really good series here and got hot.
How'd this big play break here?
Well, it's just it's counter with our Y coming backside, and we do a nice job of sealing the edge and then getting a couple kickouts. And Ty's not going to be caught when he gets in the open field.
That loosens things up a little bit. It's 10-6 Bison now in the lead, and Code Green can pin their ears back a little bit and get some pressure on their quarterback.
We did. We played just man-free here. Great job by Spencer Wagey on the edge, and sack fumble, a huge play, getting our offense football back on the 14-yard line.
Well, and here's what you talked about earlier. This is almost a fumble. Then there's a penalty, pulling a guy off the pile, so you get inside the 5, but it gets backed up a little bit.
It does, but again, you're looking at a 12-yard gain, a quarterback run game, and those were the things that we thought we could exploit during the course of the game.
Some breathing room with a 9-yard run here, get you back in there a little bit.
Great run by Dimitri. It's good to have him back, and you see just all the things he provides to us offensively.
Good play by Trey here on the touchdown.
Once again, finding one of our tight ends for a touchdown. Doesn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't. Missed the 2-point conversion, so it's 16-6 at this point. Boy, they really started to feed Pierre Strong a lot on this drive.
They did. They were probably had made its quarterback change again and felt like they needed to run the football. And again, he does a nice job of breaking getting off on the edge. Here he just makes a guy miss in space. And we talked about how effective a back he is and how good he can be.
Once again, though, in the red zone, tighten up. Code Green has to tighten up. They do exactly that and make some plays down here.
We do. We brought a zero pressure. We don't do it very often. When we do, it needs to count for us. And it was a nice play by Michael Tutsi.
Well, their kicker hadn't made a field goal outside of 40 yards. This was a big kick, and he boomed it.
He did, but you expect him to be solid, and I'm sure he can go even farther than that.
After a Bison punt offensively, big fullback Mikey Daniel, tough on short yardage, isn't he?
He was, and we gave him a crease. He was able to hit it. Nice job by Marquise being able to knock him down.
Third quarterback is in now, like you mentioned. It's a freshman. And again, they didn't change a whole lot here. They're running him as well.
No, we missed the technique we were trying to use on the quarterback there, and they get that quarterback counter downhill on us.
Well, and suddenly they're right in here looking to tie the football game and get inside that red zone, don't they?
They did, yep. And here again, they ran a little bit of mesh replace and got us crossed up in some man coverage. And they do a nice job. And then again, here's an error. We should have tackled the quarterback with our defensive end and just an execution breakdown.
So it's 16-16 right now, 7:22 to play. And this is an interesting sequence right here. The Bison have a turnover on a 3rd and 2. But South Dakota State also got loose with the football right here. This was a wild part of the 4th quarter. And they're going to turn it over as well. Pierre Strong almost fumbles. You get an interception, so Code Green did bow their neck here, didn't they?
We did, and they responded. And anytime you can come on the field after sudden change and create a takeaway of your own on 3rd and 9, this is a big play by Josh Hayes, sinking in some cover 4. We were playing kind of soft cover 2 over there into the boundary, and the quarterback tried to hit that pocket shot.
That sets up a 4th and 1 after a couple of runs. Here's the play of the game, the play everyone's going to be talking about for a long time. What did you see from your vantage point?
Well, I think they were anticipating us quarterback sneak. We went up there and tried to ice them, tried to get them to jump off sides. I think that generally makes people think that the quarterback sneak is there. We lined back up. I think they were probably anticipating power or pound, and we ended up running them more off tackle, and it was a great run by Adam Cofield.
Yeah, he really hit the hole hard, and now you can just really pin your ears back, slam the door, close the game out. Derek Tuska, South Dakota kid, doing the job.
No question. Derek's one of the best defensive ends in the country, best defensive players. And this tells you if during the day we could have got him into more 3rd and longs, we really could have probably pinned our ears back and gone.
And they're basically down to the last play here where they try flea flickers, and this basically ends the game. And great job by Code Green, and that seals the victory. You see the Dakota marker. It means something to the players. There's no question about that, to keep it in Fargo, and it's heading back up I-29. Great win by the Bison, 23-16 on our Nodak Insurance scoreboard. You see the rush yards, 332 for the Bison with those 2 big explosive plays. Points off turnovers, also very, very big. The Bison capitalized after that interception, got the 4th and 1, 71-yard run. Great job by the Bison. Let's hear what the players had to say after the game.
It felt real good, to be honest. Didn't play great in the beginning. We were back and forth all game. Right there at the end, we knew we had to close it out, and that's what it took. And
obviously, with game day and everything, the fans probably were a little more excited, maybe than we were. We just took it as another week. Honestly, there really was nothing different. Maybe a couple guys had one more interview to do, but other than that, it was a really normal week for us. Obviously, had some little things that we need to get clean up, penalties, but it feels really good to go 1-0 this week.
So defense, we played fairly well. There was obviously some things we got to clean up on Monday and stuff, but holding them to field goals, that's exactly what we want, keep them out of the end zone.
Last year, it wasn't the same feeling for me. Obviously just I don't feel like I contributed the same, but just the opportunity that I had this year to contribute a little bit more to winning that rock, it was really exciting.
Well, sometimes it takes just one play. The 4th down run by Adam Cofield will stand the test of time as one of the bigger plays in the Dakota Marker Series, and it earned him our player of the game.
The player of the game, presented by Nodak Insurance Company.
Cofield only touched the ball 8 times, but this one touch was everything. In the biggest moment of the game, it was Cofield who held the game in his hand, and he delivered big time. Adam has a calmness about him, which helped him navigate the high-pressure moment.
I just trusted the whole line, and I figured I would just get the 1st down, but I saw the hole open, and I just went. The whole line, they were geeked up to just go out there and get that 1st down, but once that play started, it was just hitting heads and getting the 1st down and going.
Coach, walk us through that sequence once again. There was a lot of timeouts in there. Obviously, where you were on the field, a lot of coaches aren't going to go for that 4th and 1. Talk about your thought process there.
Well, we as I said before, we tried to get up there on 4th down and ice the play a little bit and see if we could get a free one, see if we could get them to be undisciplined and jump off sides, and they did a nice job and called timeout. And of course, we had a little bit of time to think about it.
Yep.
We went back on the field, aligned. They called timeout, so I had 4 minutes to think about it. And at the end of the day, I felt like our kids, we went down to Brookings to win. And not to be close and not to hang around. And I was concerned about, we still had a lot of things. If we were going to punt, there's the whole punt operation. Then all of a sudden they have an excellent field goal kicker, I believe. Even though he missed a 33-yarder earlier, I think he's one of the best in the country. And so, I challenged our offensive line. And can we get this done? And those guys all looked at me and said, Coach, let's do it.
You wanted the game in your hands. That was a great call and a great job by everybody executing the play. I found some interesting numbers here in Missouri Valley Football Conference play, because explosive plays were the story of the game yesterday, the 2 big explosive runs. Look at the touchdowns, over 30 yards versus Missouri Valley Football Conference teams. 3 of the better teams in the league. There's 9 touchdowns of over 30 yards. Explosive plays are huge, aren't they?
They are, and they could be demoralizing to a defense or an opponent. And, this shows us that we have the capability of stretching the field vertically. But also, I think you look at the number of backs you see in there, the blocks downfield that are always going to be critical too.
Yeah, tight ends, receivers, backs are all represented in that list. That also is pretty cool that every group's getting involved, and that's just Trey Lance getting everybody in the right situation.
No question. And it's like you said, it's a great population of run plays and pass plays, and Tyler Roll and Randy Hedberg and our offensive staff doing a great job of putting together game plans each week.
Let's talk about Trey Lance in the quarterback run. He had 18 carries in this football game, has 84 on the year. How do you like, what do you like how he navigates the quarterback run?
Well, he does a nice job of reading things, and of course we got to continue to practice. There's the occasional read that you wish would go the other way, but again, he's been really good with ball security. He can make people miss, and he's a big physical runner as well. And he has the capability of breaking tackles and gaining a lot of yards after contact.
No doubt. He's a tough kid. It's fun to watch him run the football, and he did a great job in the South Dakota State game, no doubt about it. Well, we'll start the hype. It's another tough game. If you look at the standings, Youngstown State is right there. They're 1-3, but don't let that record fool you, folks. This is a good football team, 5-3. The Bison at Youngstown, it's always a battle. We're going to talk more about it later, but there's how we stand right now. The Bison are at the top, 4-0 and 8-0. It's a fun time of year. We're going to hit Western North Dakota coming up. A couple of good stories that you're going to want to see. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Western North Dakota has provided some great talent to the Bison over the years. The Williston Coyotes have one in the program now. Young defensive lineman Dylan Evans didn't start life in Williston, but he now proudly calls it home.
Today's Bison football feature story is presented by Olaf Anderson Construction.
Redshirt freshman defensive tackle Dylan Evans is one of 18 players on the Bison roster from the state of North Dakota. A Williston High School graduate, Evans is working his way onto the field for NDSU, but his path to Fargo might not have been possible if it weren't for his father making a career change when Dylan was in middle school.
I spent 10 years as a police officer in Georgia and just kind of got burnt out on it and decided to try something different. I had some friends that worked up here in the oil field and invited me up here and been here ever since.
A dramatic change from the Southeast to the Midwest put Dylan in a spot to be in touch with a football program he'd never heard of before moving. And he didn't move up to join his father right away.
I came up and visited my dad once for like 2 weeks during the summertime, so hadn't experienced the winter yet, but yeah, so that was a big change, Georgia to North Dakota winter.
When Dylan was in 6th grade, he and the rest of the family moved up permanently to Williston. Dylan made it a point, as his dad explains, to make the dream of playing for the Bison a reality.
From about the age of 10 years old, he told me, he said, I'm going to college to play football. And he never slowed down. He works, he puts extra time in, works hard, and he done what he said he was going to do.
It was a really big goal of mine to go Division I football, because the last person that did it in Williston was Quali. So when I kind of did that, it was a big accomplishment for not only me, but the school, my coaches, and I think a little bit of the town too.
And Dylan's dad hopes he can keep making the town of Williston proud, even after getting his shot with the Bison.
Hopefully he can even make it to the next level. That's his ultimate goal, I think.
For the Bison Football Show, I'm Alex Egan.
Kind of a neat story. He's had quite a path from Georgia to Williston to now NDSU. Good to have him in the program, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. He adds a lot of depth to that defensive line room. Coach Gazer does an outstanding job with him, and he's a really good kid to have be part of our program, and he's got that North Dakota tough characteristic to him.
That's great. Staying out west, Dickinson has certainly provided some great Bison players over the years as well. Right now, a young speedster from Trinity High School is trying to make his mark.
The future crop of Bison, presented by Peterson Farms Seed.
Caden Kuntz has fought through injuries and is back practicing. This is a tough kid who possesses a lot of speed. While most true freshmen are fighting through the dog days of a long season, Kuntz is just hitting his stride. He loves the game.
Personally, I like it a lot. I mean, I just love playing football, and being able to play it as much as I can for as long as I can is something that I like to cherish. So being able to have this longer season where it's almost double as long as high school football it's a change, and it's definitely a lot more grueling on the body, but it's worth it and it's very fun.
His dad was an All-American at Dickinson State, so football's in the family. He loves the game, and he doesn't mind these long practices and this long season, which some high school kids have a hard time adjusting to.
They do. Kane's done a really good job. He is an outstanding track runner in high school. Was maybe the fastest kid in the state. Was state champion, sprinter. Injured a hamstring back in track season. Caused him to slow down a little bit during fall camp, but he's done a great job of staying ahead of his treatment and staying on top of those things, and adds a ton of value to our scout teams right now. And last week he was, when we were prepping for South Dakota State, he had number 15 practice jersey on. So he was, kind of Caden Johnson. And he was giving us a great look, and he's going to be a really good one for us.
Yep, great to have him in the program. We're going to talk about Youngstown. Stay with us. Coach, Youngstown is always a battle. I expect nothing less this week.
Oh, I anticipate a very difficult road game again out to the Ice Castle, and I know Coach Pelini will have the Penguins ready to go.
Yeah, no doubt. This is the exclusive TV game for the conference, so no NBC North Dakota. It's ESPN Plus only, so adjust your schedules this week. We'll have the Bison Radio Network fired up for you as well. Enjoy it, everybody. The Bison are 8-0. Have a good week.